So the reason why this thing's been sitting here for a few months, well, maybe like a month and a half or so, is because I had a hard time getting some parts, and I shopped around just to get the best deals because I need a lot of them. Like I need both doors, both fenders, bumper cover, hood's gonna be repairable, and like the shutter and stuff like that. So I had a really hard time finding cars, but finally I just said, you know what, whatever, and went to the dealer and ordered everything. So everything is in to where I can take this thing to the frame shop and they'll pull what needs to be pulled, which is just a little bit right here. And this is an aluminum frame, so hopefully that can be pulled out pretty easy. And yeah, got the doors, they're brand new in the box. And today's goal, I guess, is to figure out which seat belts are blown, get the airbag module out, and ship that off while this thing's in the frame shop and paint. That way when it comes back, I could just start assembling everything. Still missing the current airbags. Those are probably going to be a dealer item because they're honestly, I think, cheaper at the dealer than people sell them on eBay or anywhere online. So this thing's been sitting for at least a month, I'd say. Let's see if it starts. Well, it started, but it runs like garbage because half of the stuff is disconnected. Alright, that was a short trip, but I actually do have this airbag too. I can put that in. I'm kind of glad that the dash is not blown. To me, replacing the dash airbag is like the worst. It's worse than replacing the curtain bags, which is just as bad. So yeah, so this is all the stuff that came with the car. It was all in the trunk, and some of it's good, some of it's bad, but I never throw anything out before the vehicle's complete because there's little things that you can use. Like this camera is still good, the badge is scratched, but the camera is good. The grill is no good, but the ST badge is good. The headlight, I have complete headlights. I probably won't need anything, but still I keep everything until the last minute because look at this, there's bolts and screws and everything on the old fenders. These most likely I'll get brand new once the car is painted. This doesn't get painted, so it'll just clip in last. There's all kinds of duct work, and there's you know, piping. It's all good stuff. Wiring harness. Here's a good example. There's still a parking sensor on this wiring harness, which this wiring harness is actually trash. I was gonna attempt to repair it, but luckily I got a new bumper. New, when I say new, I mean used bumper. It is a complete bumper with sensors, LED fogs. It came off a Sport, I believe, or a Limited or whatever. Came with the camera and the logo, but it's not a ST grill, so I am gonna get a new grill, ST specific, because I want that little badge. So that's all good stuff. I do have two airbags so far. I have the driver knee bag and then the driver wheel airbag, and I'm gonna replace both of those, and then I'll scan for codes and see. I know this belt is blown for sure. That one may not be, but if I scan it for codes, I'll be able to know if that seatbelt is blown or any of the other ones in the back are blown, and that way I can get them redone and reset the SRS module as well. So the first upgrade I'm going to do on this is the intercooler. Whipple actually offers a intercooler upgrade for the 3.0 Ford Explorers. Also fits 2.3 Explorers, and they have tons of other Ford EcoBoost upgrades for these. So it's a bigger intercooler, which takes up this whole empty space there, gets rid of that little thing. Mine has probably got a hole in it, maybe. Doesn't matter, it's way too small. I'm gonna get rid of that. And the second upgrade I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of this exhaust, because as you can see, Ford had to turn the pipes down because of the fumes getting through the trunk. and I guess that was a huge complaint, so they ended up doing that. I can't have that. I gotta have them straight out. It's a quad exhaust. It's gotta look legit. I am glad that this thing has a hitch, so just in case we gotta tow something like a camper or a boat, this thing will do the job just fine, especially with a Whipple upgrade. So to pull this airbag out was a little bit of a pain. There is 2 holes on the sides of the steering wheel back here, and you basically just take, I have this little piece of rod here, it's metal, and you stick it in on each side and release the clips. Now the back one is kind of a pain because you can't see it, so what I did was I peeled this flap back and got my screwdriver down there, and this flap will just go right back when the new airbag's in place. I'm hoping that the plugs are not melted. Sometimes they melt, sometimes they don't. So this is a moment of truth. Let's see if these melted. Yep, they seem to be melted, which is fine. I know some people like to just solder new connectors. I don't want to solder anything in the airbag system because that's, you know, so what I do is I just break these off, and I have new connector housings from like other cars which are the same, and I'll just switch over the terminals, because the terminals are fine. It's just this plastic gets melted because of the airbag getting hot when that deploys. So when I got the airbag out, my connectors were melted, so I have new connectors that I'm gonna just switch over. I'm gonna move these terminals over because, as you can see, the terminals are fine in there. It's just the plastic is melted. What I also noticed is a lot of people complain that the wire back here rubs through with the airbag, and mine is pretty close to showing wire. I'm sure there's a recall by now on this, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some tape around that, sort of protect it more, and put it back in. So if you haven't checked your wire behind your airbag on the steering wheel on the 2020 and up Explorer, it might be time to check it before that rubs through, and then you're gonna have a bunch of lights on the dash probably, and something won't work. Most likely the buttons will stop working or glitching, so check that out. So I always have these connectors laying around because I know this is a common problem, and you can order these online. And like I said earlier, a lot of people just will cut these wires and solder them. It's one way to do it. It works. I've done that before, but I like to just switch over the terminals so it all looks original, nothing gets soldered. I like my things as original as possible, so just if you're at a junkyard, you see these, just cut them off and you'll have some laying around. And just like that, you have an original connector without cutting or splicing any wires. It's as original as it gets. So I've got the new connectors on there, the airbag's ready to install, and I did tape up that damaged rub through wire because it was rubbing in this corner here, and that's a common problem on these, so you need to check it out. And I use this heavy duty tape. It's like almost like sticky cloth that we usually use on the under hood wiring harnesses, and you can get this stuff off Amazon. This is a cheaper brand. I think 3M makes it also, and I think that's a better one, but this is a cheaper brand that I just had laying around. So the airbag's ready to go back in. That's the most satisfying part to me. Usually I save that part for last when the vehicle's completely done, but I just want to snap this thing in so this steering looks complete. That's the most satisfying click ever. And now the steering wheel is complete. Now to the knee airbag. I believe it's just a few bolts or screws, and it comes right out. So I'm going to hook up for scan and go ahead and scan and figure out which seat belts are blown, because this one actually still works, but that doesn't mean that it's good. It could be still blown, since the curtain airbag blew over there and the side. So it's a hit or a miss. Sometimes when this blows, then this blows as well, the seat belt, when the dash bag blows, but sometimes it doesn't. So best thing to do is just to scan everything and figure out what is actually damaged. Also, I'm curious to see if this will have a crash code recorded in the SRS module. I'm guessing it will, because so many airbags blew up, but we'll find out. So it does look like that I have a driver's side seat belt deployed, and then I do have the crash event storage full and locked. I have no idea how to clear that without sending the module off. If anybody knows how to clear that up with ForceScan or any other way, let me know. But I usually just send it off to my airbags in Georgia, or there's a few places that do it. So I'll just send the SRS module with the driver's seat belt, and it looks like it's just the driver's seat belt that actually blew out, and then both curtains, both front seats, and then the front two sensors, which are still not installed because of the shutter being not there, is why these codes are there. So very good. The driver wheel cleared and the driver knee cleared, which is nice. Those two things are off the list. And there's a bunch of TCM codes because the turbo boost sensors disconnected, and temperature sensors disconnected, so the bunch of stuff is disconnected. AC compressor, I don't know why that's there. Coolant pump, engine coolant bypass valve, control circuit low. Yeah, so there's tons of stuff missing, but this is all good because I know it's all disconnected, so it's all good. Not gonna worry about that. I just wanted to make sure that none of the other seat belts blew besides this one, which is obvious because it does that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it rebuilt. I think it's cheaper to just get it rebuilt than buying a new one or a used one. And so there's the airbag module in the center console. It's pretty much in the same location in every car. Some cars are more difficult to get to because, like on the Ford Fusion, for example, you got to take apart all of this individually and then get to every screw, where here it was like, I think 8 screws around the console. There's 2 there, 4 on the sides, and 2 in the back. So, and then I was able to unplug 2 connectors up here in the front and get to the module. It's pretty simple. Now I'm going to take the module out. Keep in mind, anytime you're doing anything with electronics on any car, you want to have the battery disconnected, especially if you're finally assembling the good module in and stuff like that. It won't matter so much right now because this module is, it does have a crash code in it. So, but when I'm reassembling, I'm going to have the battery disconnected for sure. Alright, so now we'll ship it off to get repaired, along with the driver's side seat belt, which I already removed. And always try to put the hardware back from anything you disassemble, because you don't want to lose it. And if you can't put the hardware back, get some Ziploc bags, put them in Ziploc bags and label them. That'll save you so much time when it's time to reassemble. So I've got the aftermarket shutter all assembled. I'm gonna say this, it's not the best piece in the world because I had to reuse some of the stuff. Luckily I had the complete shutter. It was just completely shattered, but I moved all the original stuff over, including a few blades, because I broke some of the new ones, and luckily they're the same, so I reused that. So everything is now connected here, so I should have less lights on the dash, and I have this complete bumper that I'm about to just hang on the vehicle and secure it just for transportation purposes. And then we're off to the frame shop.
(911) assist is not operational. Please visit your dealer for service.
Well, that was fun. The truck started sliding forward because it was over here, and the ramps, yeah, that was a fail. How nice.